Well, this is an interesting situation to be in. If I read some of these Dr. Fauci emails, even though they've been released under the Freedom of Information Act, this video would probably be removed. Now, I can show you this Newsweek headline, but if I actually read the article, they'd take the video down. That's how revealing these emails are. So what can I say? What can I talk about? Maybe this. Dr. Peter Daszak, president of the EcoHealth Alliance, a group that has extensive ties to the Wuhan lab gain-of-function research, sent this email to Fauci on April 18th, 2020, roughly 6 weeks after the pandemic began. As the P1 of the R01 grant publicly targeted by Fox News reporters at the presidential press briefing last night, I just wanted to say a personal thank you on behalf of our staff and collaborators for publicly standing up and stating that the scientific evidence supports a natural origin for COVID-19 from a bat to human spillover, not a lab release from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. This is the same guy whose organization sent $600,000 to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Now watch this clip of the same doctor talking about his research on viruses.
Coronaviruses are pretty good. I mean, you're a virologist, you know all this stuff, but you can manipulate them in the lab pretty easily. It's just spike protein drives a lot of what happens with the coronavirus, zoonotic risk. So you can get the sequence, you can build the protein, and we work with Ralph Barrick at UNC to do this. Insert it into a backbone of another virus, and do some work in the lab.
Listen, I'm saying nothing. I
prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
What more do I need to add? Oh, but it gets better. Dr. Daszak was one of the lead investigators for the WHO who visited the Wuhan lab back in February for an investigation that lasted just 3 hours. Basically, they just turned up and asked the Wuhan lab workers, you know that virus? Yeah, did you leak it? Us? No! Investigation complete. Oh, but it gets better. Dr. Daszak was employed as an expert fact checker by Facebook when it was monitoring and removing misinformation about the origins of COVID on its platform. So the dude who thanked Fauci for dismissing the lab leak theory, having been involved with the Wuhan lab, then goes to investigate the lab leak theory while all the time overseeing the removal of misinformation about it on Facebook. This sounds like the plot of a James Bond movie. Suffice to say, we were right. We were right again about everything. Will there be any apology? Will there be any effort to reverse this juggernaut of censorship? Will the social media networks that banned information about the Wuhan lab leak theory, now that the Biden administration is directly investigating it, change course at all? Will they revise any of their policies on misinformation? Think about this. All the fact checkers, the mainstream media, the social media networks, in the name of stopping the spread of misinformation, may have facilitated one of the biggest cover-ups in modern history. Think about that. Yet are there any calls to strip back their power? Any mea culpa? Any reckoning whatsoever? We've literally empowered them to dictate reality. And this is where it leads us. But in closing, I'd just like to remind everyone to wear your mask, take your vaccine, and trust the medical experts.
I'm about to give you a very important URL. Please memorize it. Please write it down because it is essential. Just like a firearm, just like storable food, just like a relationship with God, just like having friends and family and neighbors you can count on, everybody needs a satellite phone. We've got one of the best at the lowest prices out there. You can get a free phone, $600 plus value at InfoWarsPhone.com. That's InfoWarsPhone.com. $600 plus sat phone free when you sign up for 1 year, $99.95 a month for the 150 minutes you get. All the calls to you from cell phones or landlines or sat phones are free. The 150 minutes you pay for is so you can get emergency calls out when you need to. Everybody needs this who works in rural areas or big cities. Communications are so important and our communications are compromised. We're being tracked by cell phones. Get your sat phone today at InfoWarsPhone.com.